State your name.
Abbey.
Abby, where are you from?
I'm living out here in Las Vegas, originally California.
Okay. How long you been in Vegas?
It'll be 4 years in June.
Alright, so it's kind of, you're still not a local yet.
Okay, not yet.
Do you feel like a local?
Sometimes I do.
So what was it like growing up in California?
I grew up in a town much smaller than Las Vegas, so it was kind of boring. We used, just did the normal, go to school, do whatever. It was boring. We went to drive around roads to see where they ended and get lost purposefully. There was nothing to do.
Okay.
And chill at Denny's.
At chill at Denny's. So like how big of a town was it?
I think when I left, it was about 125,000 people.
In the town? Well, it's a big town.
But it was in the desert, so nothing was open at night.
Yeah. So it's like, it definitely wasn't like a 24-hour city the way
No.
Vegas is. What brought you to Vegas?
God, I really feel.
Yeah.
I was up in Reno. I was in a way kind of getting kicked out of my apartment because someone else was moving in, and I couldn't find another roommate. And I just realized that it was God sending me down here.
Yeah. Did you fight it?
Oh yeah.
You tried to do everything you could not to
I tried to
come to
stay up in
Vegas?
Reno, but it's one of my many lessons where I've learned: do not fight God.
Yeah. Were you raised with faith?
No.
No?
No.
What kind of background does your family have?
Non-practicing Jewish background.
Okay. And how old were you when you found God? Or when you found Christ?
Well, I've always known there was a God, and I was always searching much of my childhood, but I kind of was questioning everything senior year of high school. And then it wasn't until I moved up to Reno when I was 20 years old that I was just really came to know the Lord and was baptized and just fell in love with Him.
Yeah. What was your life like before? Like, you said you always knew there was a God, but did you say you had a personal relationship with Him, or was that like non-existent before?
It was non-existent. It was just me trying to be good on my own terms apart from Christ.
What was your life like then?
People always thought of me as a good person, but I wasn't living with Christ. I still, went out and got drunk once in a blue moon, or did stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, and no convictions about anything.
Right.
So it's like, oh, hey, I'm not going out sleeping with everybody like other people, but I'm not convicted about the way I'm living on my own.
Sure.
Not convicted about even messing around with witchcraft I started to look into.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like I think it's a topic most people don't really dabble into. So you actually were like practicing witchcraft, or you're just like kind of learning about it?
I was learning about it because when I was on my search to find out who God truly was, I'd see in all the teen magazines these little spells, and I would try them, and I would just research witchcraft, and I knew a couple people who were involved in it. It was very fascinating, very interesting, and if it wasn't for Christ, that's probably where I would be.
It's crazy.
Or possibly be there.
Possibly, yeah. So what was it that led up to you learning about the gospel and accepting Christ as your Lord?
Just a lot of questioning faith and religion, and I had spiritual experiences like with demons and stuff. So,
really?
And I'm just assuming there were people, that were praying for me that, I won't even know until I see them in heaven. So I'm forever grateful for them who were praying for my salvation, but Christ really wanted me, and He wasn't going to let go.
Can you tell us about one of those experiences?
One of them, I was just laying in my bed, and this demon was pulling my feet, out the second-story window, and it wasn't until I was crying out, God, God, save me. So it was only by the grace of God.
Really? I don't think a lot of people have those kind of experiences, and it seems very real to you.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't a dream. I knew it was real. And the more I questioned Christ, the more it was gradually happening until, I became filled with the Spirit and became a born-again believer.
Who was it that invited you to church?
That's a funny story. No one really invited me per se. I went up north to Reno for school, and I decided to join a Christian club to meet a good guy, which never happened that way. But I found this club. I saw a sign posted on the dorm hall. I'm like, oh, I'm going.
Right.
And then my first night there, someone at the club, someone invited me to her church. So I kind of came to know who Christ was at that church, but it wasn't until about a year later when I ended up going to just like a hardcore Bible church that I learned who Christ was.
And you just kind of went on your own.
No, I was with some friends. I had no choice. It was a young adult group. They were driving. I had no choice. I didn't want to spend my night at church. But there was just something different that I kept going. I was baptized like a month or two later. It was all
You're just
God.
on fire. Yeah. And what is your life like now, like different, after accepting and surrendering your life to Christ? What is your walk like different? What's it like now?
Now I know I have Christ. He's my defender. I can come to him with any problems, any issues. I can trust him. He's not going to blurt out all my problems to other people. He's never going to let me down. He just has my whole life in his hands, and I can trust him with that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, it's no problem. It's all God.
Right on.